Hello, listeners of the latest episode. Welcome to the new chapter of our story.
The perimeter alarm triggered at 0300 hours, 48 hours after the facility assault. John was already awake when the notification came through. Had been awake for most of the past 2 days, knowing Hunter 12 was closing in, knowing that Rachel, or what Rachel had become, was coming to kill him. Motion sensors detecting single contact from northeast approach. Michael reported over the radio, moving with tactical precision through the ruins. Thermal signature consistent with enhanced physiology. It's her. John stood in the security center, watching grainy surveillance feeds as Hunter 12 navigated the perimeter. She moved like someone who'd designed the defensive grid herself, because she had. 3 months ago, Rachel Martinez had helped John establish these security protocols, had suggested sensor placements, had identified the blind spots they couldn't afford to cover. Now she was using that knowledge to infiltrate. "She's avoiding the primary detection zones," Jennifer said, tracking Hunter 12's progress on thermal imaging. "Moving through the eastern blind spot. The exact route Rachel identified during our security audit. She remembers." John watched as Hunter 12 reached the first defensive position, a guard post manned by Thomas Anderson and Sarah Chen, 2 fighters who'd known Rachel, trained with her, mourned her. Hunter 12 neutralized both guards in under 10 seconds. Non-lethal strikes, precise, efficient, using techniques John had taught her personally. The guards collapsed unconscious, alive but incapacitated. "She's not killing them," David Chen observed from beside John. "She could have. She's fast enough, skilled enough, but she chose non-lethal force." "Because she remembers them," John said quietly. 73% cognitive retention. She knows those guards. Part of her doesn't want to kill them. Or part of her is minimizing casualties to avoid alerting the base too early. Dr. Morrison countered. "We can't assume restraint equals humanity. It might just be tactical efficiency." Hunter 12 advanced deeper into the compound, moved past 3 more guard positions using routes Rachel would have chosen, arrived at the central courtyard where the leadership quarters were located, where John's quarters were located. She stood in the shadows 30 meters from his door, didn't attempt to breach, didn't position for an attack, just waited, and then she spoke, her voice carrying clearly through the surveillance equipment. "Captain Martinez, I know you're watching. I know you've been tracking me since I entered the perimeter. I'm not here to kill your guards or destroy your base. I'm here for you. Just you." Rachel's voice, the same tone she'd used during tactical briefings, the same slight Texas accent, the same speech patterns John had listened to for months. "Come out and talk to me," Hunter 12 continued. "Let's see if you can bring yourself to fight someone who has my face and my memories. Someone who remembers the day you taught me to field strip that rifle. Who remembers the conversation we had after I killed my first infected. Who remembers telling you I wanted to be brave like you." John felt something crack inside his chest. This wasn't just a weapon wearing Rachel's appearance. This was Rachel's consciousness, Rachel's memories, Rachel's personality, twisted and reprogrammed, but still fundamentally her. "Don't go out there," Michael said. "It's exactly what she wants, what Webb programmed her to want. She's bait." "I know," John said, "but she's right. I need to face her. Need to see if there's anything of Rachel left worth saving." He walked toward the door. Chen grabbed his arm. "John, the community is watching this. If you die out there, if she kills you, Resistance leadership is gone. We can't afford to lose you over sentiment." "It's not sentiment," John said. It's responsibility. I trained her. I sent her on that recon operation. I left her body at that field station. I owe her the chance. He stepped into the courtyard, stood 20 meters from Hunter 12, looked at the girl he'd trained, who'd died in his service, who'd been transformed into a weapon designed to kill him. She smiled. Rachel's smile, but something wrong in the eyes. "Hello, Captain. Miss me?" The community was watching from windows and concealed positions. 63 people seeing their leader face the girl they'd mourned, the girl who was now a hunter. They'd been arguing for 2 days about what to do when Hunter 12 arrived. Half wanted to kill her on sight, treat her as pure threat, eliminate the danger before it could strike. Half wanted to attempt rescue, honor Rachel's sacrifice by trying to save her from Webb's conditioning. The debate had fractured the community more than any previous crisis, because this wasn't an external threat. This was one of their own, transformed against her will, turned into a weapon aimed at their hearts. Sarah Anderson watched from the medical tent where she was still recovering. She'd been day 4 when they rescued her. Transformation reversed, humanity restored. But she remembered the conditioning, remembered the compulsions that had tried to override her consciousness, remembered fighting against programming that wanted to make her kill people she loved. Rachel's day 12, Sarah said to Dr. Morrison, who was monitoring the confrontation. "I was day 4 and it was almost impossible to resist. How can she fight 12 days of conditioning?" "I don't know if she can," Morrison admitted. "The neural restructuring is exponentially more complex the longer transformation progresses. Your pathways were damaged but not completely rewritten. Rachel's might be too far gone." In the security center, Michael had positioned sharpshooters at 3 different angles. "If she moves against John, we engage. Capture preferred, but lethal force authorized." "And if she doesn't move?" Chen asked. "If she just talks?" "Then we see if John can reach whatever part of Rachel is still in there," Michael said. "Or if we're watching him have a conversation with a weapon that's very good at pretending to be human." "Do you remember the first time you killed someone, Captain?" Hunter 12's question carried across the courtyard. Rachel's voice asking a question Rachel had asked 3 months ago, after her first combat engagement. John remembered. Rachel sitting in his quarters, hands shaking, asking if the horror ever went away, if you ever stopped seeing their faces, if it ever became easy. He'd told her it shouldn't become easy. The day it became easy was the day you stopped being human. "I remember that conversation," Hunter 12 said. "You told me that good soldiers carry the weight of what they do. That guilt means you still have a conscience. Do you still believe that?" "Yes," John said. "Then you should be carrying a lot of weight," Hunter 12 said. "All those people who died under your command. Kandahar, Denver General, the triple strike disaster, Rachel Martinez at the field station. How much guilt are you carrying, Captain?" It was psychological warfare, using Rachel's memories of John's vulnerabilities to probe for weaknesses. Exactly the tactics Webb would have programmed into a weapon designed to eliminate resistance leadership. But it was also Rachel's voice, Rachel's cadence, Rachel's way of getting straight to the painful truth. "I carry all of it," John said. "Every person I've lost, every decision that got someone killed, including you." "Including me," Hunter 12 repeated. "Except I didn't die, did I? I was dying, 17 minutes past critical blood loss, brain activity fading. Then Webb's people found me. They introduced the modified infection during cellular death. My body regenerated. My brain preserved most of its neural pathways. She took a step closer. I woke up 3 days later as something new. Not quite Rachel, not quite Hunter, something in between. They transformed you against your will, John said. That's not your fault. We can reverse it. Morrison reversed Sarah Anderson's transformation. He can do the same for you. Sarah was day 4. Hunter 12 said. I'm day 12. 12 days of conditioning, of cognitive restructuring, of learning to be what Webb needed me to be. Another step closer. 15 meters now. Do you know what day 12 feels like? She asked. I have Rachel's memories, all of them, growing up in Austin, losing my mother to the infection, finding your community, training with you, the recon operation, getting shot, bleeding out thinking I'd failed you. Her expression shifted, something vulnerable breaking through the predatory calm. But I also have Webb's conditioning, commands layered over my consciousness like code, over an operating system. I remember loving this community. I also feel compelled to destroy it. Both impulses exist simultaneously. Then choose, John said. If you remember Rachel, if part of you is still her, then you can choose which impulse to follow. Hunter 12 smiled, and this time it was bitter. That's textbook psychological warfare, Captain. Appeal to my humanity. Activate Rachel's loyalty to override Webb's programming. I remember you teaching me those exact tactics. The grammatical slip was deliberate. I remember you teaching me. She was both Rachel and Hunter 12, both victim and weapon. I came here to kill you, she said. That's my primary mission parameter. Eliminate resistance leadership. Specifically, eliminate Captain John Martinez. But I also came here to see if you'd try to save me, to see if the man who trained me would risk his life to bring me back. I would, John said. I am. Right now. Come inside. Let Morrison examine you. Let us try to reverse the conditioning. And if I can't be reversed, Hunter 12 asked, if day 12 is too far gone, what then? John thought about his promise to Anderson, about making it quick if there was no way to save someone who'd been transformed. Then we honor what you were, John said, the brave 18-year-old who died protecting her team. We finish what you started, destroy Project Lazarus. Make sure your sacrifice meant something. Hunter 12 was quiet for a long moment. When she spoke again, her voice was different, softer, more like Rachel. I remember the moment I got shot. I remember thinking I'd failed the mission, failed you. I remember being so scared, not of dying, but of disappointing you. She looked directly at John. Tell me I was brave. That's what I wanted to hear before I died. Tell me you were proud of me. It was manipulation. Had to be. Webb's programming using Rachel's deepest desire to create an opening for attack. But it was also exactly what Rachel would have wanted, what she died wanting to hear. You were brave, John said, his voice thick. You are brave. I was proud of you then. I'm proud of you now for fighting Webb's conditioning, for standing here talking instead of attacking. Or, Hunter 12 said, the softness vanishing from her voice, I'm following a more sophisticated directive. Use Rachel's personality to create trust. Make you believe I can be saved. Get close enough to eliminate you when your guard is down. She moved fast, closed 10 meters in 3 seconds. John barely had time to draw his sidearm before she was on him. But she didn't attack. Stopped 3 feet away, close enough to strike, but making no hostile move. Which is it, Captain? She asked. Am I Rachel asking for help? Or am I Hunter 12, executing a mission. Can you tell the difference? John's weapon was aimed at her chest, his finger on the trigger. One squeeze and Hunter 12 would be dead. Rachel would be dead. Again. I can't tell, John admitted. I don't know if you're fighting Webb's programming, or if this is all part of it, but I'm choosing to believe there's enough of Rachel in there to make this worth trying. He lowered the weapon. Come inside, Will. Hunter 12 moved, not to attack John, but past him, grabbed his radio from his belt and transmitted, "All Hunter units, primary target is exposed. Converge on Central Courtyard. Execute." Then she looked at John. "I'm sorry. That was Webb's real programming. Everything else was distraction." The thermal imaging systems erupted with alerts. 8 additional contacts surrounding the base, moving in coordinated patterns toward the Central Courtyard. 8 more hunters, all converging. Rachel hadn't been sent to kill John. She'd been sent to distract him while Webb's assault team moved into position. Michael's voice exploded over the base-wide alert system. "Multiple hostile contacts. 8 hunters approaching from all directions. This is not a drill. All personnel to defensive positions." The community erupted into controlled chaos. Fighters rushing to assigned positions. Non-combatants evacuating to hardened shelters. The carefully rehearsed defensive protocols activating. But they'd rehearsed for external assault. Not for a hunter already inside the perimeter. Not for Rachel standing 3 feet from John, having just called in the attack. "I didn't want to," Hunter 12 said quietly. Only John close enough to hear. "The Rachel part of me fought it, but Webb's programming is stronger. I can feel it overriding my resistance, making me do things I don't want to do." John raised his weapon again. "Then I'm sorry, too." "Don't be," she said. "I told you, if you can't save me, make it quick. That's still what Rachel wants, even if Hunter 12 won't let me ask for it." The first of the 8 hunters reached the perimeter. The sentries opened fire, but these weren't like standard modified infected. These moved with tactical precision, used cover effectively, coordinated their approach. Hunter number 6, formerly Marcus Webb Jr., breached the eastern wall. Hunter number 9, formerly Jennifer Park, came through the western approach. Hunter number 3, formerly Thomas Park, led the assault from the north. All people the resistance had thought dead. All transformed into weapons. All programmed to destroy the community they'd once protected. "They're using our tactics," Michael reported over the radio, "moving like trained fighters. They know our defensive positions because they helped establish them." "Fall back to secondary positions," John ordered, still facing Hunter 12. "Abandon the perimeter, consolidate at the central compound, make them fight through choke points." Hunter 12 tilted her head, listening to transmissions through her neural network connection. "They're adapting to your fallback strategy. Hunter 6 is moving to cut off the eastern evacuation route. Hunter 9 is positioning to flank your secondary positions." "Why are you telling me this?" John asked. "Because 73% of me is still Rachel," she said, "and that part is fighting Webb's programming with everything she has. I can't stop myself from executing the mission, but I can give you tactical intelligence that might help you survive." It was insane. A hunter feeding John information to counter the very assault she'd enabled. The cognitive dissonance of someone who was simultaneously weapon and victim. "The other hunters," John said. "Can you communicate with them through the neural network?" "Yes. We share tactical information in real time. What one hunter learns, All hunters know. Then tell them to stand down. If you can fight Webb's programming enough to warn me, you can fight it enough to recall the assault." Hunter 12 laughed bitterly. "That's not how it works, Captain. The programming has layers. I can resist small things. Warning you, using non-lethal force on guards I recognize. But direct commands override everything. When Webb programmed me to call in the assault, I had no choice. When he programs me to kill you, I'll have no choice about that either." "When?" John asked. "Soon," she said. "The resistance will be overwhelmed within 30 minutes. The other hunters are better at following programming than I am. They don't have as much cognitive retention. They're more weapon than human. Once they've eliminated enough defenders, I'll receive the order to execute you, and I will, even if Rachel is screaming against it the entire time." The sounds of combat intensified. Hunters moving through the compound with terrifying efficiency. Resistance fighters falling back, trying to establish defensive lines against enemies who knew every tactic they might use. Chen's voice came through on command frequency. "John, we're being systematically dismantled. They know our protocols, our fallback positions, our defensive capabilities. We can't hold this." "Morrison," John transmitted, "how fast can you sedate Hunter 12, knock her unconscious so we can restrain her?" "I'd need to get within injection range," Morrison responded, "and I'd need her to hold still for approximately 3 seconds. Given her enhanced reflexes—" "I can hold still," Hunter 12 interrupted. She'd heard the transmission through the neural network. "The Rachel part of me wants to be sedated, wants to be restrained before Webb orders me to kill you. But you need to do it now. The programming is getting stronger. In 5 minutes, I won't be able to resist anymore. It could be a trap. Could be Webb's conditioning using Rachel's voice to get Morrison close enough to attack. But John had gambled on Rachel before, had sent her on the recon operation, had trusted her with critical missions. If he couldn't trust her now, even transformed, even compromised, then Webb had already won. "Morrison, move in," John ordered. "I'll keep her talking. You approach from behind with the sedative." Morrison grabbed a syringe, loaded with enough tranquilizer to drop a modified infected twice Hunter 12 size. Moved carefully toward her position. "Tell me about the other hunters," John said, keeping Hunter 12's attention forward. "The ones with less cognitive retention. Can they be saved?" "Hunter 6 retained 40%, she said. Hunter 9 retained 55%. Hunter 3 retained 38%. The lower the retention, the more complete Webb's control. They're not fighting their programming like I am. They're just executing it." "But they're still human underneath," John said. "Still the people we knew." "Are they?" Hunter 12 asked. "If 38% of someone remains, is that still the person they were? Or is it a new entity wearing fragments of the original?" Morrison was 10 feet away now, moving silently. Hunter 12 couldn't see him, but her enhanced hearing might detect his approach. "I think identity is more than percentages," John said. "I think the core of who we are persists, even when everything else is stripped away." "That's optimistic," Hunter 12 said. "The Rachel part of me wants to believe it. But the Hunter part knows it's not true. Webb didn't just add programming to me. He rewrote fundamental aspects of my personality, made me capable of things Rachel would never have done, gave me impulses that override my conscience." Morrison was 5 feet away, preparing the injection. "Then fight those impulses," John said. "You've been doing it all night. Keep doing it for 30 more seconds." "I'm trying," she said, and her voice broke. Rachel's voice, genuinely struggling. "I'm trying so hard. But it's like drowning. Every second the programming gets stronger. Every second it's harder to remember why I'm resisting. 3 feet. Morrison raised the syringe. Because you're Rachel Martinez, John said. Because you're brave. Because you don't let fear control you. Because I'm already dead. Hunter 12 finished. I died at that field station. Everything since has been borrowed time. And borrowed time always runs out. Morrison lunged, drove the syringe into Hunter 12's neck, depressed the plunger. Hunter 12 could have dodged, could have killed Morrison in the second it took to inject. But she held still, let the sedative enter her bloodstream, felt her enhanced physiology fighting the drug even as it spread through her system. "Thank you," she whispered, looking at John, "for trying, for not giving up on." She collapsed. Morrison caught her, lowered her carefully to the ground. "Restrain her," John ordered. "Heavy restraints. Assume she'll wake up stronger than before. Chen, what's the status on the other hunters?" "We've driven them back temporarily," Chen reported, "but they're regrouping, and they're learning from each engagement, getting better at countering our tactics." "Because they're sharing information through the neural network," John said. "What one learns, all learn. We need to disrupt that connection." "How?" Morrison asked, while securing restraints on Hunter 12's unconscious form. "The neural transmitters are organic. We can't jam them like regular communications." "But we can overload them," Jennifer's voice came through. "If we can access Hunter 12's neural transmitter while she's sedated, maybe we can send a feedback pulse through the network, disrupt the other hunters' coordination." It was desperate, untested, might not work at all, but it was the only option that didn't involve killing 8 hunters who'd once been resistance fighters. "Do it," John ordered. "Jennifer, Morrison, work together. Access Hunter 12's transmitter and try the feedback pulse. Michael, hold the defensive perimeter for as long as you can. I'm moving to coordinate with Chen." As John ran toward the command center, he looked back at Hunter 12's restrained form, Rachel's face peaceful in sedation. No sign of the weapon underneath. No indication of the person fighting desperately against programming that tried to override her humanity. They'd captured her, stopped her from executing her primary mission. But 7 other hunters were still attacking, and if Hunter 12 woke up, there was no guarantee Rachel would still be winning the fight against Webb's conditioning. The battle for the community was just beginning. But the battle for Rachel's soul had been ongoing since the moment Webb's people found her dying and decided to transform her into a weapon. John didn't know which battle was more important. He just knew they couldn't afford to lose either one. Jennifer worked on Hunter 12's neural transmitter, while Morrison monitored her vital signs. The device was embedded at the base of her skull. Organic technology interfaced directly with her nervous system. "I'm detecting active network connections," Jennifer said. "She's receiving tactical updates from the other 7 hunters, even while unconscious. The network doesn't shut down when the host is sedated." "Can you send the feedback pulse?" Morrison asked. "I think so, but I don't know what it'll do to her. The transmitter is connected to critical brain functions. Overloading it might cause permanent damage." "She told us to try," John said over the radio. "Said the Rachel part of her wanted to be stopped. That counts as consent." Jennifer prepared the pulse generator, a modified EMP device calibrated to the specific frequency of the neural transmitters. Activating in 3, 2, 1. The pulse transmitted through Hunter 12's neural network. spread to the 7 other hunters through their shared connection. The effect was immediate. Across the compound, the attacking hunters suddenly stopped moving, stood still, hands to their heads, clearly experiencing neural disruption. "It's working," Michael reported. "They're incapacitated. All 7 targets down. Repeat, all hunter targets are down." But Hunter 12's body was convulsing. The feedback pulse was affecting her more severely than the others, either because she was at the pulse origin point, or because her higher cognitive retention made her more vulnerable to neural disruption. "She's seizing," Morrison said, working to stabilize her. "The pulse is causing cascading neural feedback. If we don't stop it, it could kill her." "Shut it down," John ordered. Jennifer killed the pulse generator. The feedback stopped. Hunter 12's convulsions ceased, but her vital signs were dropping rapidly. "She's crashing," Morrison said. "Heart rate falling, neural activity decreasing. The pulse damaged something critical." He worked frantically, administering stimulants, trying to restart failing systems. But Hunter 12's enhanced physiology was shutting down. The modified infection that had kept her alive was turning against itself, the neural disruption having triggered some kind of cascade failure. "We're losing her," Morrison said. And in that moment, Hunter 12's eyes opened. Rachel's eyes, clear and aware for the first time since the confrontation began. "Did it work?" she asked, her voice weak but unmistakably Rachel's. Not Hunter 12's cold precision, Rachel's warmth. "The other hunters are down," John said, kneeling beside her. "You stopped them. You saved us." "Good," Rachel said. She smiled. "The feedback pulse broke Webb's conditioning. I can feel it. The programming is gone. I'm just me again. Just Rachel." "Then we can save you," John said. "Morrison can stabilize you, reverse the transformation, bring you back completely." But Rachel was already shaking her head. "The pulse damaged too much. I can feel my body shutting down. The infection is eating itself. I've got maybe 2 minutes. "No," John said. "We didn't save you from Webb just to lose you again. Morrison, do something." "I'm trying," Morrison said, but his expression said he knew it was hopeless. Rachel reached up, grabbed John's hand. "Listen, the neural network. When I was connected, I saw things. Webb's entire operation, locations of his facilities, personnel rosters, plans for Phase 2 of Project Lazarus. It's all in my head, and you need to get it out before I die." "How?" John asked. "There's a data extraction protocol in my transmitter. Morrison can access it, download everything I saw through the network, but it'll accelerate the shutdown. I'll have seconds instead of minutes." "Then we don't do it," John said. "We keep you alive as long as possible. Find another way." "There is no other way," Rachel said, "and this information is worth more than my life. Webb's plans, his facilities, everything you need to destroy Project Lazarus completely. That's what I died for the first time. That's what I can die for now." She looked at Morrison. "Do it. Extract the data. Let me finish the mission I started 3 weeks ago." "Rachel," John started. "Please," she interrupted. "Let me be brave one more time. Let me matter." John looked at Morrison, at Rachel, at the impossible choice between keeping her alive for minutes or extracting intelligence that could save thousands. It wasn't really a choice. Not for someone like Rachel, who'd always put the mission first. "Do it," John said. Morrison activated the extraction protocol, Data flowed from Rachel's neural transmitter to a storage device. Locations, personnel, plans, everything Rachel had seen while connected to Webb's network. Rachel's body convulsed once more. Her vital signs flatlined, but she smiled. "Tell me I was brave," she whispered. "One more time." "You were brave," John said, his voice breaking. "You are the bravest person I've ever known." Rachel's eyes closed. Her hand went limp in John's. This time, there would be no resurrection, no modified infection to restart her body, no transformation to preserve her consciousness. This time, Rachel Martinez was truly gone.